Hey there, y'all. Hope y'all are doing well. In this video, I'll be setting up a home server to host a web application without opening any ports on my home network. To accomplish this, I'll be using a Cloudflare tunnel. Some prerequisites to this, you're going to need a remote server. This could be any old laptop or PC. Could be a full stack server, whatever you have laying around. In this case, I'm going to be using just a Ubuntu virtual machine. But this would be your laptop or whatever else. Another thing you're going to need is a Cloudflare account and obviously a reliable internet connection. For the operating system, I'm using Ubuntu. You can use whatever operating system you'd like. If you're using a Linux operating system, it would be much easier to follow this video. If you're using Windows, it's still possible. You just have to follow different steps. I also want to add in a little disclaimer. I'm not a professional, I'm just a student, so you should do your own research, but this video should help you get up and running. For the most part, I'm just following the Cloudflare documentation. I highly recommend you have this open in a tab and read through it as needed. All right, to get started, we're going to configure the server. And as I said, this is going to be a remote server. This is your laptop you have laying around, so you're going to be physically at your laptop or you're at your old PC and typing in these commands. So first things first, we should update. If you're using Ubuntu, you're going to do sudo apt get update. Now for this video, I'll be using apt-get. You might see me switch to apt. They're basically the same. They're different, but it doesn't matter what you use. And of course, if you're on a different distribution, use that package manager. Okay, up to date. Next, we're going to make sure we have sudo or root permissions. The easy way to do that is just sudo l. I already have, looks like I already used the authentication, but it'll ask you for your password if you have sudo permissions. Now, if you don't have sudo permissions, you're going to need to log in as root. So from here, I'm going to log in here. Now I'm the root user. Then if we want to add our non-root user with sudo permissions, we could use usermod. We'll use the switch A and then G, and our group is sudo. So this is just, we're going to add a user to a group, and then our user is going to be, in this case it's Mozzie, that's just my username. This is going to be whatever username or account that you want to give sudo permissions. So that's good. Leave root. Then we're going to install some tools. The first tool we're going to install is OpenSSH. We're going to use OpenSSH so that we don't have to be sitting at this machine the entire time. We can go to our perhaps maybe more comfortable, more monitors PC away from this. Because maybe, in my case, I have my server in a closet. It's not very comfy in there. So what I'm going to do is install OpenSSH. I'm going to do sudo apt get install, take OpenSSH. And now there's two variants of this. There's the client and then there's server. In this case, this is our server. So we're going to get OpenSSH server so we can get connections to it. I'm going to say yes. Hopefully there's no errors. It looks good. Another tool we're going to need is Nginx. Say yes. Perfect. Another thing we're going to do is set up our firewall, because if we don't set this up, we won't be able to connect to our server. So in order to do that, we're going to use a tool called UFW, and you're going to need sudo permissions to do this. So we're going to do sudo UFW allow open SSH. We can see those rules were added. We're going to do it again for Nginx. We're going to do sudo ufw allow Nginx. We're going to do this with apostrophes. I'm going to do HTTP. Perfect. So we see those rules were added. Now we can make sure. We're going to first enable UFW. So I'm going to do sudo UFW enable. Perfect. And then sudo UFW status. And here we see it is active. And we see our new rules. These are going to be IPv4, and these are our IPv6 rules. So now we should be able to SSH into this remote machine. In order to do that, you're going to need your IP address. There's a couple ways you can get your IP address on this machine. Excuse me, you're going to want your local IP address. If you don't know what that means, you could look it up. The way to do that is just do hostname I, and that will give us the IP address on the local IP address for this server. Now we can use that. Pretend I'm walking away from this machine and I'm walking to my Windows machine because I love Windows so much. I definitely don't have it only because it makes gaming easier. We're going to open up a terminal. This could be CMD. This is PowerShell. I like the terminal application. So in order to SSH in this now, we're going to, first you're going to need SSH on this machine. You could use winget SSH. I think it's winget install SSH. No, I'm not going to do that, but you get what I mean. It might already be on here when you install. So what we're going to do from this remote computer is we're going to type SSH. We're going to type our username here. So we're going to do Mozzie. And then we're going to give our local IP address. So in this case, it's 192.168.1.3. Yours might start with 10s. It doesn't matter. It depends on your router. Now, it's mad about something. I forget why this happens. But it's okay. I think it's because I turned this machine back, so it's confused. So it has a different fingerprint. Let me figure this out. So in this case, I'm going to just delete that. So users. This should not happen to you. And I think I could just remove known hosts. Yeah, that should fix it. Woohoo. Ooh, spelling. Okay, I don't know why I did that, but try again. SSH Mozzie at 92.168.133.3. Yep, okay. See, the fingerprint was just wrong because I reset the VM. Now we're going to add our password, or input our password. Perfect. Now we see we have a system restart was required. We can go ahead and abide by that. We did just update. We'll just do reboot. And you can watch our VM restart. Like that. And then once it boots back up, you can see we could SSH into it without even logging in on over here. I'm sure you're familiar with SSH. You might have used PuTTY, something. It's all the same thing. to, it's just booting, let it boot. Okay, we don't need this here anymore. So now we can SSH to it again. Your username, the IP address. Password. Perfect. Now, one other little fun thing I like to do is insults. This is not important at all. I just always do this because I get my password wrong all the time. And do sudo vsudo. And here we're going to add a new default. And it's called insults. I'll save it and leave. That's a lot of fun because every time you get your password wrong, which I do all the time, it'll insult you. I think a lot of them are Money Python quotes. It's fun. I think it is anyway. Okay, our server should be set up the way we need it to be. So we'll just put that over there. Next, we're going to move over to Cloudflare and we're going to add our website to Cloudflare. Like I said, go to the documentation. It's phenomenal. Next, we're going to go to, I'm going to close it, but keep it open. Log in, and we're going to hit, you can, if you do not have a domain name already, you can register with Cloudflare. They have Whois protection, that's fine. For demonstration, I bought one on Namecheap. And we're going to go ahead and add that to Cloudflare. To do that, we're going to, in Namecheap, if you're using Namecheap or some other provider, we will add our domain name. In my case, my domain name is going to be help. I'm doing this against my will.xyz. Go ahead and paste it in there. If you know it by heart, you can just type it in. Permission is denied. Why? Okay. We're going to log in again. I'm on the wrong account. Okay, this needs to be dark mode. To turn on dark mode, we do somewhere. There we go. Far better. Again, we're going to go get started. Paste in our domain name. It'll work this time. We're going to select free. Well, I'm going to select free. Free is for me. I got access denied again. I don't know why that is. Give it a little good refresh. Okay. So here it's going to be pending a name server update. What we're going to do is we're going to want these little guys. These are the Cloudflare name servers, and we're going to put those onto our Namecheap domain. If you bought your domain name through Cloudflare, you don't have to do this step. So you can skip ahead. If you are doing this, you're going to need to make sure DNSSEC is off. That's what this is saying. And in Namecheap, it's as simple as going to Manage, Advanced DNS, and ensuring this status is off. So we determine that it's off, and we're going to change this. And if you're using a different domain provider or registrar, just follow their steps. Look up how to do this on, I think Cloudflare has some guides on for each or links to, but I'm sure you can figure it out. For here, this is where we enter in those name servers. So I'm just gonna paste, copy, no, paste. Got Clyde and Shaz. Interesting name, Shaz. Now here it says it'll take up to 48 hours to take effect. Yes, and I recommend you wait. For the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna keep on trucking, as they say, I think. All right, next, our DNS records. This is where you'll see, holy smokes. I'm gonna delete all these. I don't need them. Goodbye. 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 Yeah, what is that? I don't know. Okay. This is where your subdomains will appear. There'll be CNAME records or ANAME records. AAA is for IPv6, or excuse me, quadruple A. Yeah, your subdomains will appear here. If you want to be super, super cool and show off your friends how cool you are about how you have a website to your Discord connections, like a cool kid, this is where you add the TXT file, or the TXT record. Do that here. Anyway, next we will change some more settings. Back to the DNSSEC. We will enable it. So first we're going to enable it in our registrar. And here we see we have these fields we need to put in. And we'll get these from Cloudflare. So now in Cloudflare, we're going to go to settings. Yeah. And then we're going to enable DNSSEC. And here's that information. So we're just going to match them together. Get the key tag. Paste that bad boy in there. And I think if you have if you bought your domain through Cloudflare, this is just, you just turn that on. It's for security, which we love security. The digest type, I think it's 13. Why can't you let me scroll? Okay, we copy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. 256, the algorithm is 13. Okay, let's double check. 2, type 2. Okay, so we're just gonna save all changes. Perfect. Now, that should set up. And that will take about an hour. So again, you're going to wait. I'd wait a day or so for your DNS. When we first added it, this will be about an hour. Next, let's do some encryption. So we'll turn this to full strict. Oh, it already is. That's good. Yeah, this is going to ensure your connection between your origin server, so you know, your laptop or whatever you want to call it. Did I just pause that? Whatever. And Cloudflare. Cloudflare will validate the SSL certificate on your server, and then this reduces the chances of a man-in-the-middle attack. And then it's in the overview. And we'll turn on the recommender, which is also already on. Rad. Yeah, so just make sure that's full strict and the recommenders on. Next, we're going to enable HTTPS. That's no. Yeah, Okay, so it's in here. Oh yeah, always use HTTPS, make sure that's checked. Gotta be honest, I don't know what everything in here is. There's a lot. You'll have fun exploring. Next, we're going to set up authenticated origin polls, which is already checked. Oh yeah, yeah. Make sure that's checked. Make sure that's turned on. That will ensure the requests from Cloudflare have a valid certificate and are accepted by your origin server. And this again helps protect against unauthorized access to your server. Next, we'll create the tunnel. It's going to be in the Zero Trust platform, Zero Trust portal. I swear they move it all the time, but for me it's in Access. I need to choose my team name. I don't care. My team name is taken. Meow. I actually don't really like coffee cake, but that's me right now. I guess I'm paying for this. Okay, well, let me do that over here. I'm just inserting a credit card. Okay, don't mind that. So here we are. I have the free plan. Should be fun. I'm gonna go to Access and no tunnels. Okay, my bad. So we're gonna go to networks. They move all this stuff all the time. New. Okay. Anyway, we're going to add a tunnel. And here's where you can click tunnel documentation and follow along, understand how it works. It's pretty cool. It's a reverse proxy, in my understanding. We're going to add a tunnel. Cloudflare. Next. And here we're going to name it. So, I don't know. Be the Ubuntu tunnel. You can name it whatever you want. Okay. Now here's where we're going to choose our daemon, however you want to say it. And here I'm going to be using Debian. So I'm going to click Debian. And it's going to give us a how-to. This is the installer, so we're going to install it on our server over here. I was just installing NeoFetch because every cool Linux user needs to have that. I think it's depreciated now. Anyway, focus. I'm going to paste that Johnson in there. Oh, yeah. We need curl. curl CURL. Gonna do it. That'll do its thing. Look at that, like magic. Like magic, it's so cool. Now here's where we're gonna add our host name. Mine, of course, is help I'm doing this against my own will, .xyz. You could add a subdomain. I do this afterwards, so if I have different applications or something I want to host on my website, I just pick a name for one. For example, like self-hosting Obsidian, you can have a different subdomain for that. This will be the root, I think they call it the apex of your domain. Anyway, here we're going to select HTTP, and here we're going to put localhost, and then just about any port number. Let's do 55512. Happy little accidents. So the way this is working is we're going to host our website using Nginx on localhost. The Cloudflare daemon, we're pointing it to localhost at that port, and it's picking up that and hosting it on one of their edge servers. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we have a tunnel. That's pretty sweet. Now we can, now we can set up our firewall over here. So something I like to do is I have this firewall script, and it's on my GitHub page. We're gonna use curl. I'll post these somewhere, by the way. I don't know if I'll have them on like my blog or somewhere in the description, but I'll have this stuff somewhere if you can find. We'll go ahead and do that. Let's see if we got it there. And then we're going to make it executable. So we're going to do chmod plus x. That's what so chmod is change modify, and then plus x is executable. And then we'll do my IP script.sh, and then we'll run it. And this is going to add, oh man, make it a little smaller. This is going to add Cloudflare's IP addresses so that only Cloudflare can connect to us. I can't read it because it was a silly size, but I'm going to trust my script. We'll see if that's worth it. Okay. Accept. I thought I saw failed somewhere. Do your due diligence, read through this. Read through my script too. Don't just run any arbitrary script. Do I want to undo them? No, I don't. Look at me, adding undos. Okay. So that should have our, our IP table set up. I think the way we view that is sudo IP tables L list. Yeah. Yeah, so if I recall correctly, my script is going to go out to Cloudflare's website and grab a list of all of the IP addresses for them. And this is going to test it using dig. So make sure they all work. But yeah, read through it. don't just run my script. Or do. I guess I don't care that much what you do. Okay, so our firewall set up. Now we're going to set up Nginx. So first we're going to create a directory for our domain. That's typically in var www. And we're going to do sudo make directory. And we'll use the p flag so that it can create any necessary parent directories. So if one of them doesn't exist, it will make it. Var www. And then you can name this whatever. I'm going to call it the domain name. So of course we're going to grab our domain name, which is help. I'm doing this against my will. .xyz. And then I'm going to make a folder for HTML. Perfect. So now that should be in var www. We could check that. We could do ls var www. We could see help I'm doing this against my will. There's an HTML file in there. There should be one in help. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I'm actually going to then remove. So the way I'm completing that there, if you don't know, is tab completion. I'm just typing out part of it. And if it's the only one that starts off like that, I'm hitting tab and it's doing the rest. I use that religiously. It's the best. And then we're going to remove, excuse me. I just want to remove HTML. Yeah, so in order to remove the directory, we're going to do remove or recursively enforce it. Permissions are denied, so we need to be sudo. Okay, bear with me. Now we're going to assign ownership of the directory to our current user. The way we do that is with chown. And then anything we're doing in these directories, anything at the root directory starts with this. In here, you're going to need to be sudo. So we're going to do sudo chown and then r. And then it's going to be $, user, literally the word user, because it'll grab it. $. It's like an environment variable, I guess. No, not quite. I don't want to say something wrong. But var, it'll get your username. W, and then help, and that will just ensure. Yeah, and then HTML. That'll just assign ownership recursively, I believe. Then we'll do change the permissions. We'll make sure the permissions are correct. We'll do sudo change mod r 755. This is octal notation. And we'll recursively make sure that we have full permissions of var www and then help and HTML. Sweet. Then we'll configure our Nginx server block. And then to do that, we're going to go to cd, etc., Nginx, and then sites available. Anything in here? There's default. I'm just going to delete it. It looks like it'd be a good thing for you to read through this. It'd be good to go to Nginx documentation. People always make the joke of like, oh, read the docs, read the docs. The docs are really great and have a lot of your answers. So here we are going to, yeah, we're going to be sudo here. You can log in as root, but I don't know. I don't like doing that for some reason. Okay. A little bit of tidying up. So we're going to make a new configuration file. You're going to use whatever text editor you prefer. That might be Nano. Nano's beginner friendly. Vim is way better than kind of what I'm used to, so I'm going to use Vim. I don't think I have Vim installed. Perfect. So we're going to do sudo. You can do node if you don't know what you're doing. Do sudo node. Oh, not node. Nano. I mixed those up. Sudo and Vim. And then we're going to create a name. So our domain name is help. I'm doing this against my will. And here's our file. It's empty. It's brand new. It doesn't exist until we save it. So what we're going to do is I already have a config file for it that I've been using. So I'm just going to copy it. And I'm going to paste it in here. Okay. Maybe. Okay. I lost an X somewhere. Actually, I don't know why it does that when I paste stuff. It kind of takes stuff away sometimes. Anyway, this should be good. So here, actually, that was a fun mistake. This here is going to be the port number we put in our tunnel. So good access, zero trust. Tunnels. This port number here, and for any, if you're making a subdomain, you want another configuration page, you just have to point to that port number. So here it looks like we already have 552, and localhost. Here's going to be the name. This is for my personal website. This here is going to be the name of that file we just created, which of course is going to be, I don't want to spell it wrong. Help, I'm doing this against my will. And this is going to have it go to that HTML file folder that we made within help, I'm doing this against my own will. And we should be good to save. So if you're in Nano, just hit Control S, Control X. And if you're in Vim or Vim, just do colon down here. Make sure you're not in insert mode. Colon, right, quit. Hopefully I didn't mess up that. So now we can see it's there. We can see it has our configuration in it. And now we need to make a symbolic link from this to sites available, or just sites enabled, excuse me. So to do that, I think it's symlink. I forget. The node. I thought they changed names. going to be ln. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm going to do as Linode is telling us. Think of this as a symbolic link. If you don't know, it's kind of like a shortcut. Like you have, it's not actually there. It's just a link to the file. I think it's like a pointer. I don't know. I'm realizing I don't know what I'm talking about. Sudo. I'm sure that's very nice to hear as you're following me. Ln s, etc. Nginx sites available. And then our site name help. And then we're going to do that again, etc. Nginx sites enabled. And then help. Actually, not sure you need this part. They did it, so I will. Someone smarter than me wrote that. So, to explain a little bit about what just happened. Sorry if I'm mumbling through this. We have sites that are available. We can have a bunch of sites in here, a bunch of different configuration files. And if we don't have them linked to sites enabled, they won't be enabled. They won't be running, and Nginx won't be hosting them essentially. So we can see. That is now in there, and you see how it's green. That means it has a symbolic link. All right, I'm also going to remove default in there. That's red because it has a broken symbolic link because we removed the original file. So it's like having a shortcut, but it goes to nowhere. Okay. I think we also want to do sudo ufw Nginx full. Okay. That will allow HTTPS. We shouldn't be using IPv6. I don't think we're using any IPv6 addresses, but that's fine. And then these are IPv4, as I said. And then we're going to reload the firewall. Cool. We're going to check our Nginx configuration. So it's sudo Nginx, and then T to test. And here this should say syntax is okay, syntax is successful. If it doesn't do that, just check that file we just made. And then we'll reload or restart Nginx. We'll use what's called systemctl. Restart Nginx. No errors, that's good. Yeah, all right, I think it also has sudo systemctl reload. This is so if you have other applications that don't go down. Yeah, that works. So if you're ever updating a configuration file and you're hosting another website or an application, you don't have to restart Nginx. You could just reload it. I believe it just reloads any new files. But again, I might be lying to you. So this should work. If it doesn't, I'm blaming DNS. Yeah, it works. So now, easy as pie, we go to our var www folder. Then we do My brain is foggy. Go to HTML. So within here, this is where we pointed Nginx to look for HTML files. And I'll show you in a second. Yeah, I'll just show you. So we'll do cat, etc. Nginx sites available, and then help. This portion here is telling it to look in HTML. This is looking at the root of here, root, and looking for, I had GIFs on my site, so I had like my 4 page was a GIF at one point, but it's also going to look for your CSS files and JavaScript files. If you have more files you want to look for, add them here. And this is a basic 4 page. You can add in here, instead of a HTML page, I think you would just, outside of this, you would add, we'll make a directory, I think here, don't hold me to it. This is kind of out of scope of the video now, but we'll just make a sudo, you have to be sudo. And I think that will break that. Yeah, okay, so right in this directory. And notice it changed. Another thing we'll do is, we don't want a 404. Go into HTML. And then we'll do sudo nvim or nano. And we'll make our index.html. And I'm going to write hello. I'm going to do right quit. Now, if it's updated, we should get hello. And this is hosted. Anyone can view this. We're done. Now you can start doing whatever web developers do, making insecure websites, I guess. That's it. I guess for troubleshooting, we can make sure we're properly hosting our page. So we're going to do that, we're going to check our local host. So we're going to curl localhost, and then our port number is 5552. And here we're getting our web page information. Now, for example, if we do 5553, it'll fail to connect. So if you get this connection refused or failed to connect, check your configuration, check your port number in Nginx. If you get, for example, etc. Nginx sites available. Help. I'm going to change this to listen on port 551. Really should just be doing this as root 551. And if you are using nvim for the first time, the way I left that was just colon and then QA exclamation point. So I'm just gonna right quit. So now what's happening is it's being hosted on localhost 551. So now if I do curl localhost, our old IP or our old port number 5552. It still works. Oh, because it didn't reload Nginx. Excuse me. Yeah, so anytime you make a change to Nginx, the configuration, you need to reload it or restart it. Okay, now if we curl it, it failed to connect. But now if we curl 1, it works. Now here's the error that you might run into. If we refresh this, get bad gateway. That bad gateway is simply because your port number isn't matching here and in your configuration. So if we change this one to 5551, it will work. But I'm going to go back in here. No, heck it. I'll change it here. So I'm gonna go in here, change it to 1, no consequences, save. If we refresh this, it works again. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If I got anything incorrect, call me stupid in the description. Send me a link to some docs. I'd love to read them. If something's insecure about this, please let me know. Yeah. Hope it helped. Hope it helped. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I wanted to just do a quick recap. We have set up our home server. We installed the Cloudflare daemon on it, and that's connecting to Cloudflare's edge servers. We have set up our Nginx. You can also use Apache to host our website on localhost, and then we're pointing our Cloudflare daemon to the localhost at the port we specify. The Cloudflare daemon will pick it up, send it to one of Cloudflare's edge servers, and your website will be hosted on their edge server. That's all. Goodbye again.